Hello, my Neet Cognition team, junior doctors. Welcome to Neurolock Neet series. In this series, we're going to shatter the passive reading and going to shift to active recall method. See, I have picked up the code words which are asked in the Neet MCQs. In this method, what we are going to do is we are going to do active recall. That is, we are going to write down the code words 5 times each, and when we are writing it down, you are going to read it aloud so that you can hear the word by yourself. This helps in long-term memory, and there is no room for distractions and no room for any errors. So here you are going to actively engage yourself. Now I request you to grab few sheets of paper or notebook and pen and follow with me. First is the talk one, the scientist and discovery. This is going to be only half an hour daily, so that you need not worry about much time spending for this. And at the same time, we are going to write down the code keywords which will help you to retain for a long time. So first we'll start with the Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, he discovered the dead cell from cork. Now I wish to add one more point here, that is cell wall. So in the MCQ, what are the code words you have to look for? If they have asked about dead cell, cork, look for Robert Hooke. If you see Robert Hooke in the question, look for dead cell or cork and cell wall. What he actually viewed is the cell wall. So shall we start writing it down? When you are writing it down, you have to read the words aloud. This is the neural lock method. Robert Hooke discovered dead cell. He is the one who discovered first, but he discovered a dead cell. The second word is cork. He actually viewed the cell wall. So the scientist who discovered the cell wall is Robert Hooke. Second, Robert Hooke, second time. Robert Hooke, dead cell, cork, cell wall. In this method, you are not going to remember long sentences, not like MCQs reading the whole question and you are trying to remember the 4 choices. These are very easy to remember. You are going to study only the code words. Robert Hooke dead cell. So join with me, start writing. And the most important thing is, when you're writing it down, you have to read the words aloud so that you can hear by yourself. That is very, very important. Cork. And he is the one who discovered cell wall. Again, 4th time. Robert Hooke is the scientist who discovered a dead cell. He used the dead plant tissue, the cork, and he found out cell wall. 5th time we are going to write. See, so quickly we have finished. Robert Hooke is the first scientist to discover a dead cell, used a dead plant tissue, the cork, and he found out the cell wall because the cells are empty. Next, second one is the Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He is the one who first discovered a living cell. I wish you write the whole word because this will be useful for your theory also. You will not do any spelling mistakes. Anton von Leeuwenhoek is the one who first discovered a living cell. So in the MCQ, you have to look for the code words. Anton von Leeuwenhoek means you have to look for the living cell first. These three are the code words. Anton von Leeuwenhoek is the one who discovered first a living cell. Okay, dead cell means Robert Hooke and living cell means Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek first, what did he discover? A living cell. See, we have finished 3 times and we are actively engaging. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. These are all the one where you make spelling mistakes in your theory. The one who discovered first a living cell. Writing it for the 5th time. Anton von Leeuwenhoek first a living cell. So we have finished each 5 times. So what are the code words? Robert Hooke is the first scientist who discovered a dead cell in the cork, and he also discovered cell wall. Then Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, look for the word first and living cell. Then the third one is the Robert Brown who discovered nucleus. This is very important discovery, repeated many times, because only after the discovery of nucleus lot of advancements are carried out in the field, like biotechnology, bioengineering and genetic engineering. So nucleus discovery is very important MCQ. So Robert Brown, you may feel easy this when you study once, but during the panic of exam you may forget. See, Robert Hooke, Robert Brown, Rudolf Virchow, all these names are a little bit confusing, so there is nothing wrong when you write it for 5 times. Robert Brown, there is Robert Brown discovered nucleus. Third time, Robert Brown discovered nucleus. You can remember like this, N and N, okay, because his name ends with N, so the discovery also starts with N. You can remember a clue like this, Robert Brown. So N I told you, no, so nucleus. Robert Brown. Now what N stands for? Nucleus. See, we have written MCQs. Next is the Schleiden and Schwann who proposed the cell theory. So who formulated the cell theory? Schleiden and Schwann. These questions have been repeated many times. So the first time, Schleiden and Schwann proposed cell theory. So what are the code words you have to look for? Once you see Schleiden and Schwann, look for formulation of cell theory. Schleiden and Schwann formulated cell theory. So Schleiden and Schwann formulated cell theory. Fourth time, Schleiden and Schwann formulated cell theory. Schleiden and Schwann formulated cell theory. Now the last one is Rudolf Virchow. Very important question. The word omnicellular is cellular, which means all the new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells, that is from the old cells. He indirectly meant what? Cell division. So these are the three words you have to remember, code words. Once you see Rudolf Virchow, check for omnicellular is cellular cell division, which means you have an old cell, this cell divides into give new cells. Okay, old cell, new cell. So all the new cells arise from pre-existing cells. These are the new cells. Okay, so now first time Rudolf Virchow, omnicellular e-cellular, which means all cells are derived from older cells. All new cells are formed from pre-existing old cells. Cell division. Rudolf Virchow, omnicellular e-cellular cell division. And third time we are going to write Rudolf Virchow, omnicellular e-cellular cell division. Rudolf Virchow, omnicellular e-cellular cell division. Rudolf Virchow, omnicellular e-cellular cell division. So shall we recall it once again? The first one is the Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, who discovered a dead cell, and he used the dead tissue of the plant, the cork. He is the one who discovered cell wall. And second is the Antony von Leeuwenhoek. He is the one who first discovered a living cell. Next you have Robert Brown, who discovered nucleus. Schleiden and Schwann, who formulated the cell theory. Next Rudolf Virchow, omnicellular e-cellular cell division, which means all the new cells are formed from pre-existing old cells. And so tomorrow at the same time we will do the dimensions and size chart. These mathematical numerical values are very important. Neat trap. So we have to practice this as many times as possible. So thank you for listening and joining with me.